Welcome to the RV Rental Secrets podcast. I'm your host, Stacy Maxson, and I'm thrilled to guide you through the journey of launching, growing, and managing a profitable RV rental business. Welcome to the RV Rental Secret podcast. Today I have Garr Russell with me. He's actually going to be our new host of the podcast. He's my business partner in Fireside RV Rental. He's actually the founder and CEO, and he brings such great knowledge to the RV industry. He's been one of my mentors and has taught me all I've learned about the RV rental industry. So we're lucky to have him on. Thank you for joining us, Garr.
Wow, thank you, Stacy. Thank you for the introduction. You've taught me quite a bit as well. So don't give me credit for all the things you've learned. Okay. Maybe I'll take credit for some.
Okay. Well, yeah, we've definitely shared a lot of knowledge along the way.
We've grown a lot together over the years, haven't we?
Yeah, definitely. So today we're going to talk about doing hard things in the business. And with it being our busy season right now, I feel like this is a really relevant topic. Garr, you've had probably the most experience in the RV rental industry throughout the years. What are your top tips for getting through the busy season?
Yeah, definitely. I even wore my t-shirt today, Stacy, do hard things. So I love this. I didn't think of this phrase. I got to give credit where credit's due. It's one of my mentors, Josh Latimer, who shares that phrase a lot. But it doesn't even matter what industry you're in, really. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're in a business, there's hard things that you have to do. And one of the biggest lessons I feel that I've learned as an entrepreneur is you've got to know that all work works. So if you're doing something and you don't necessarily feel like it's working, it may not necessarily be working as far as you're getting that immediate result you're looking for, but it could be working on you on the inside as far as overcoming fear of rejection or different insecurities that you have. So just want to encourage you, like Tony Robbins says, take massive action. So you should always be taking action, always be trying things. And if something doesn't work, that's okay. You just learned another way that you don't want to do it. So you're just one way closer to the way to do it. So I just want to encourage all on that. And really one of the things I've learned as you're scaling, especially as you're growing a business, is you've got to learn when it's time to delegate. And I don't know where I heard this, but it's so good. It's find somebody who can do it 80% as good as you can. Because in our own minds, right, Stacey, we all think that no one can do it better than us, right?
Yeah, definitely.
It reminds me of when we used to do all your inquiries, and you're like, Garr, I need my inquiries. I can do it better. And you were right. You took more ownership of it, So you taught me that there's certain things I was trying to do for you that you should have been doing for yourself. And that's what created our Fireside Plus program, where we, have the two different programs now. But really, yeah, if you can find somebody who can do it 80% as good as you, to where it frees you up to do the other things that are actually money-making activities, delegate that out. Especially in this business, when I first started, it was literally, I started bringing my family into the picture. So the kids were helping clean the RVs and wash the RVs and stuff like that. So it became a family business, which I love, that we got to do life and business together. To me, it's just beautiful because you can teach your kids things that you want them to learn to go into the world through doing life together in business. And so, yeah, I would say would be one of the biggest things that I've learned first is delegation, especially if you're going to scale. You can't scale if you're doing all the things yourself.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, I think too, with that, like you had mentioned about doing the items that are really going to move you forward. Like for me, that was doing the inquiries, talking with the customers, making sure I understood their needs. Because I was knowledgeable in the local area, I was able to help them with recommendations and campgrounds, make sure that they got the right RV that was going to fit their needs. And then also reaching out to management leads. So, the way I grew my fleet was by getting RV rental management units, basically renting out other people's RVs for them. So that's where I spent a lot of my time, was reaching out and getting those new units, which was obviously going to help us scale faster instead of me spending my time cleaning an RV or even doing like the walkthroughs and things like that. That was something that we were able to outsource.
Yeah. That brings up a good point too, is that's one of the things I learned the hard way. Was as soon as I started renting my RV, which if y'all don't know my story, I'm sure we've got to post it somewhere. Go to maybe my willestatestory.com. You can download a free copy of my book. and it talks about kind of how I got into the RV rental business. But like many others, I'm renting my RV, making good money, and I'm like, okay, it's time to scale. I started going out and buying RVs. That's one of the big mistakes that I made right off the bat. Thankfully, when God showed me, no, don't do that, use other people's assets, other people's RVs, I listened to him and got rid of those RVs and stuff because during COVID, I saw a lot of our competitors go out of business because just from that short time where we weren't really doing much in business, just the shock of when COVID happened, man, all those companies that had 10, 20, 30 units, even 5 units, if you got 5 drivable RVs and you've got the payments and the insurance and the storage and the title and the taxes and the license and the repair, all those things, and you're shut down, because COVID happened in like March or May, I think. So just getting ready to go into the season, people are canceling bookings. I saw a lot of companies go out of business because all that overhead. And all of a sudden they thought, man, we're not going to be able to operate this summer. So that was definitely a huge lesson that I learned. If you're looking to scale, and when I coach people, just even on when they go to buy an RV for themselves, that they're also going to rent out. One of the mistakes people make is they buy an RV, usually a drivable, that they think is going to rent really well, where that's not even necessarily what their family needs. If your family needs a 19-foot tow behind that has a set of bunks on the side, get what your family needs first and then rent it out when you're not using it. Because there's no point of you owning an RV that really wanted for you and your family. You're just trying to offset the cost. And you end up getting into a $100,000 RV instead of a $20,000 RV just because you think, well, when I'm not using it, it's going to rent well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good point, is just like use what you have to get started too. If you already own an RV and want to test out the industry, just go ahead and list that on the platforms and see how it does. Like that's how I got started. We owned, I think it was a 30-foot bunkhouse, and it was a 2012 and we started in 2018. So I mean, it wasn't even the newest model, but we put it out there just to earn some extra money, and it was really successful. And that's where, after that success, we looked into starting our own business. And that's where we found Fireside and the RV rental management concept, which we had never heard about before. So, just start small, start where you are. And I think you can learn a lot from that before you decide to scale.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. Here, if you don't mind, let me read it. I've got this, when we were thinking about what we were going to talk about today, I've got this book, 3 Feet from Gold, that I read, and it is just, it is so good. I literally have pages of notes front and back out of this book. And, when you talk about just being in the grind of the season, right? And doing hard things, it says, before great success comes, you will surely meet with temporary defeat. And I was thinking about that. I don't know about y'all. I'm going to get a little personal here. I don't know about y'all, but I feel like I get some really deep thoughts in the shower. Do you have that too, Stacy? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Something about the shower. It's like, I was actually looking on Amazon a couple weeks ago. Man, I wish I could find like a notepad thing that I could like hang in my shower to like take notes or something. Because I just get these thoughts, and I was thinking about our podcast today and doing hard things and being 3 feet from gold. And I thought about what we've been doing lately with marketing our franchise opportunity. Like we've literally averaged, I think, around 4 franchises a month signing up. Has that kind of been our average, Stacy, the last?
Yeah, I think so.
So then last month, we're like, all right, we're all in. We hired a marketing firm, and I'm going to be real with y'all, $10,000 a month just for the firm. That doesn't count our ad spend, all the other things. We had to hire an appointment setter, another salesman. Like we went all in. Okay. We put a lot of money out. And guess how many signups we had in June, y'all? We had 0. We literally went from averaging 4 a month to 0. And yesterday, July 1st, we had 2 signups. So, and today I think we have 2 more coming in. And it was really interesting how people quit when they're 3 feet from gold, like the book says. Like literally, you feel like, well, I've tried it, it's not working, and we quit. And our marketing company kept encouraging us, well, it takes weeks for Facebook to figure out our message and this and that and all the things, but we're just not used to that, right? We want results immediately, especially when we look back and said, well, no, we've been getting results and now we're doing this new thing and we're not. And man, I'm just so thankful that we decided, we made some tweaks yesterday. We're pushing forward. We're reviewing some of our stuff. And yesterday we got 2 signups and a couple more coming in today. And that there just proves another one of the quotes from the book. It says, to succeed, you must have stickability. I don't know if that's an actual word, but that's what it says in there. And it's being okay with doing the same thing over and over and over, not necessarily seeing a result in the short term. And as
Yeah.
you do that, eventually, bam, there you are. You strike gold.
Yeah, and that reminds me, like when I first got started with Fireside, that first season, we had signed up like 10 RV rental management units. And in May, we had 0 reservations. And like you said, we kept sending out the quotes, but no one would reserve the unit. So we just kept going, going, going. And we didn't even have any reservations for Memorial Day weekend, which we're in upstate New York. That's like the kickoff of camping season. But we just kept going. And then in June, I think we got like 10 reservations. And then July and August, we were just fully booked. Yeah, so if we had quit in May, we would have never seen the success that we had. So yeah, definitely, I think in most businesses, they just quit too soon. You have to push through that hard phase in order to come out on the other side and see that success.
Yeah, I totally agree. And that's what I love about community is and that's one of the reasons we do this podcast is to encourage and mentor and just, do this together to show people, hey, you're not in this alone. Let's do this together. It makes me think of John in New Jersey, a franchise, or same thing. Remember, he was freaking out about bookings and now he's so
Yeah.
busy. He's like, all right, I actually need to take a step back, do this and that. I need to find a business partner, all these things. So yeah, that must just be like a principle, I'll have to study that, see if I can find that in the Word of God. That must be just like a principle, like right where you get to the point of where you almost feel like you want to give up. That's where you're actually right on the verge of breakthrough. And there's another quote in this book that says, never make a decision in a valley. No one can make a sound decision when it's based on fear, loss, or disappointment. And when we're in the valley, we were just in the valley 2 days ago, like, oh my gosh, what do we do? Hiring this firm, all these things. And then bam, last night we have 2 signups and potentially in our calendars, our books out. Yeah, anyway, it's so amazing how that works. There's one more quote I'll say real quick. It says, you are the same today as you will be in 5 years. You probably heard me say this one many times, Stacy, except for 2 things: the people that you meet and the books that you read. And man, that is just so true. The people that you meet and the books that you read. I know me and you both love reading.
Yeah. Yeah, I was the Firestarter book club for Fireside. And that's something I kind of created on my own because I do read so much. Like I wanted to share what I was reading with others. So it kind of benefited me to do that. But to rewind a little bit, like it's funny because you said like we were struggling with the same things with growing the franchise. And isn't it funny, like after all this years of entrepreneurship and we can tell other people, to keep going, but it's like we're still human and we get stuck in that ourselves. So I mean, like you had mentioned, that's great why we have a community to kind of remind us of those things and to keep us going. Because even though that, it's hard to practice it all the time.
Yeah, it's true because, you grow as an entrepreneur as far as you go to new levels, you do harder things, to think even 6 months ago for us to think we'd be spending $10,000-$20,000 a month on a marketing campaign, that would blow our mind. Like
Yeah.
that's comprehensible. We were spending like $20 a day on Facebook and we were like, ooh, look at the money, it's flying out the window. So it's just crazy. So yeah, it's like we mastered the RV rental business and management, and this and that. And now the new level for you and I is working on mastering marketing franchise opportunities and how that works and communicating that. And so yeah, it's level to level. You master one thing, then you go to the next, and you literally start from square one. But all the same principles apply. No matter if you're renting just your RV or if you're trying to scale towards 200 locations of an RV rental business, the same principles apply at each level and you walk through the same process.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Just to get like kind of tactical for a minute, because we're talking about the busy season. I know last minute reservations are the norm in the industry. What guidance can you give people kind of dealing with those last minute reservations so that they can capitalize on the opportunity and actually make money. What's your take on that?
The biggest thing I would say in regards to that is watch your emotions when you're dealing with these last minute inquiries and last minute bookings and the last minute breakdowns, because, the awning breaks. We freak out and think, oh my gosh, we got to cancel the whole summer because I can't get it in for 6 weeks and blah, blah, blah. And what's going to happen? Take a minute, because the situations really aren't as big as we think they are. Simply message the renter with the problem, but then also give them the solution. Hey, I just want to let you know, unfortunately, the last renter, they had the awning out during, it was windy and the awning was ripped off, but not a problem. I fixed this for you. This is what I did. We just went ahead and removed the awning, and we went to Walmart and we bought a nice 10 by 10 pop-up canopy. So thankfully, your trip is saved. Everything is still good. You can have the shade. I just wanted to give you the update that we don't have to cancel the reservation. And so the way that I just packaged that is I almost made it sound like they had a problem instead of me having a problem. And don't worry, I fixed the problem for you. So it's all about presentation. But if I was all in the emotions of it, I would have messaged them like, oh my gosh, this awning just came off. It's probably going to ruin your vacation because your favorite thing is probably to sit under the awning. Do you want me to try and find you another RV? And then they're going to, whatever emotion you lead with, they're going to pull right into that. So, just have that positive mental attitude and have the solution for them. And then last minute bookings too, don't freak out about those. We actually have several of our locations that for the last minute bookings, that's actually a bigger money making opportunity for them, because usually one of the things we're really big in is nightly minimums in the summer, like have a 5 to 7 night nightly minimum. And so if you get a last minute and they just want it for the weekend, I'd encourage you stick to your minimums or charge a last minute booking fee, because the people need the camper. You have the camper. At the end of the day, yeah, it's a blessing to be able to send families on vacation, stuff like that. But that's not why we're doing this. Otherwise, we just do it for free. No, we're doing this to make money. So keep the emotions out of it. Again, this is a business, and find ways to capitalize on those situations. People are going to gladly hand you their credit card when last minute the person that they had the RV booked with, their awning broke and they canceled the booking on them. Now they're freaking out.
Yeah.
They're going to gladly pay you the 5-night minimum, even though they only need it for 3 nights. They're going to give you a 5-star review. So really my biggest thing would be in the heat of the summer is don't get all heated. Keep your emotions cool.
That's so true.
Yeah, I love to say don't react, respond. A reaction is a response is, okay, let me think this through, or even if it's 5 seconds, let me think about this a second. And then you can actually respond instead of react.
Yeah. In my experience, one with the nightly minimums, we've had several reservations where we had a 5-night minimum and they only took the RV for 1 night and we still got paid for all 5 because they were just excited to have the RV. And it happened to be more of a luxury fifth wheel. So they just wanted that experience for that 1 night. Yeah. So that's definitely worked in our favor. Also, what's helped us is as soon as a rental comes back, we have the cleaners clean it at that point. So that way, if we get a last minute reservation, it's ready to go. We don't have to stress about something needs to be fixed, something needs to be clean. We take care of that as soon as it comes back in.
Yeah, most definitely. I think what we tend to do with that is we put our emotions and our logic into it. Like, oh my God, people might be listening to this for like, oh my gosh, Stacy, you charge somebody 5 nights for 1 night. I would never pay that amount, which maybe you wouldn't, and that's fine. But don't take your thoughts and emotions and put those on someone else. They actually saw the value in it, so don't put your perspectives and your thoughts on time and money into someone else's mind. Let them make their own decision. It's their money. It's their purchasing power. Let them decide if they see enough value to do that.
Yeah. We had that issue too with last minute reservations where we couldn't necessarily find a driver to deliver since it was, the same day. So my husband would have to deliver it. So I would actually charge more and let them know we have to take time out of our already scheduled plans to deliver this camper for you. And we're willing to do that. But because of that, the price is going to be $500 for delivery. rather than like the $300 we would normally charge. But to them, they're just excited to get that RV. So you don't know who's on the other end. Sometimes a budget may not be an issue for them. So put it out there. If they're willing to do it, great. If not, move on to the next reservation.
Yeah, it makes me think of Dathan in Alabama. He just delivered a high-end Class A from Huntsville, Alabama to Muskegon, Michigan area for a festival. He quoted the renter a $6,000 delivery fee because he really didn't want to do it. And the renter went on and paid it. And he's like, oh, guess I'm headed to Michigan. Him and his wife went up to Michigan and putzed around there for several days during the rental. And so yeah, our perception of value is different. One of my mentors, Myron Golden, says, wealthy people, like the bill is just part of the process. It doesn't matter like what the cost is. If it's $500 or $5,000, if they have the desire and they see the value, it's just part of the process. It's handing over the American Express.
Yeah. So definitely be cognizant of your pricing and I think you said it before, like race to the bottom. You don't have to keep lowering your prices. Like you said, add value instead.
Yeah, add value. And I'm sure y'all resonate with this. Those people that right off the bat, they're trying to nickel and dime you down. And can I pick it up early? And can you give me $20 off of this? And do I have to pay a dump fee? Those actually end up being the worst renters that you have. They end up being the most amount of maintenance, high maintenance renters, and the lowest amount of profit. So don't join the race to the bottom.
Yeah, and they'll be the ones to do a chargeback too, trying to get a full refund. So yeah, don't be afraid to say no to those like difficult renters.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, I think we can wrap it up there. I think we've given some good information for this episode, and we'll share more insights in our future episodes with Garr and I. You'll be seeing more of Garr in the future. So I hope you enjoyed our content this week, and we'll see you again next time.